Thanks for checking out this video on family harmony, and specifically we want to address the role of the leader in family harmony. Scan social media and look in the news articles and you'll find that families everywhere are falling apart. Read further and you'll find out that sadly Christians are not exempt.
No.
Even more sobering is the large number of influential Christian leaders whose marriages and families have fallen apart, and these are only the ones that make the news.
Having a growing organization does not make you exempt from family disharmony. In fact, you can make the case that the larger and more rapidly your organization grows, the more purposeful we need to be about prioritizing your first ministry, your family. What good is your organizational health if you lose your family in the process? How can you celebrate salvation in your church if spiritually and emotionally your family is dying?
Add to that the extra layer of responsibility that you have as a leader of other people, and you'll see that if you're not intentional about this area of health, it won't just happen by accident. One of the many roles that you have as a leader is helping those that serve with you and helping them prioritize family harmony.
Just a reminder that family harmony, as defined by the whole leader, is this: arranging the most important areas of life around disciple making with a priority on our families. We are proposing that the best way to disciple your family is to be like Jesus to your family, prioritizing their health so they can in turn point others to Jesus. Love well, forgive generously, encourage the best out of each other, keeping their eyes fixed on the one who can provide everything they need for purpose and identity. If our families are our first priorities, then we need to be just as strategic with them as we are with our organizations.
Specifically in this video, we want to take some time to address family harmony and your role as a leader. This requires you to think about family harmony as a priority for your own personal family, but also to consider your role in promoting family harmony in the people that you're leading. Now keep in mind, the people that you're leading are not just married couples, and they're not just parents that need to prioritize family harmony. There will be singles and young adults that aren't married and don't have kids yet that are also, or even adults that are later in life that no longer have young children, but still need to prioritize this area of family harmony. And you, as the leader, need to have the appropriate expectations for them so that they can be just as healthy as married couples and young families. Yes, they have their own unique needs and priorities within their own relationships.
As ministers of the gospel, all of these principles will also apply to the leading of your congregations and volunteer teams as well. Never has the world needed better teaching and modeling of family harmony than it does right now.
We want to take just a few minutes to discuss a few principles to consider that will help you as you're leading others towards family harmony. These are all in addition to the videos that we did on individual family harmony in marriage and as a parent. The first principle that we want to talk about is the need to be organized and how it helps everyone plan ahead. If one of the goals in your family harmony is prioritizing healthy balance in schedules and priorities of your families, then we as leaders can support that process by being prepared and organized in such a way that our families and our leaders have a clear understanding of their obligations and how it will affect their time, their availability, their energy, and their physical presence.
And it will help you as a leader too, because if they're able to organize their life, then they can be more useful to you in their whatever ministry context they have to really be in.
Yeah. One of the things that's really important for you to realize is every expectation that you have for a family creates some sort of turbulence within that family unit.
Yeah.
And so being aware, having families aware of things that are coming up allows them to prepare for those opportunities. So if they know that there's a big crazy week coming up, maybe a VBS is coming up, or maybe an event is happening in which there's a lot of things that's going to happen, then by having that stuff prepared long enough in advance, it allows the families that are going to be engaging in those activities to plan accordingly.
Absolutely. The second principle we want to talk about is leading by example. If your team see you living out balanced principles, they will feel comfortable applying them to their own lives as well. We can only expect what we give, right? So if we are busy or if we're imbalanced, if we're a workaholic, if we're just doing things and we expect, or our pace is go, 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 and we never slow down, how can we expect anything different from our teams? We have to show and model them what we're hoping that they will do as well.
Yeah. One of the best ways that we can lead others is by example. And sometimes as the point leader, you also need to be the one that help them establish those priorities as well by encouraging them to live them out. One of those examples would
Yeah.
be, I remember in our local church, if I had a long weekend as the youth pastor and we were away for a retreat, typically our staff meetings are on Monday mornings.
Yes.
And I would come in for a staff meeting after a crazy long weekend, and my lead pastor would say to me, "What are you doing here?
Yeah.
We'll catch up later. You need to go be with your family. You need to go take care of yourself. You need to go be healthy." And so, in a way, he was modeling for me and encouraging me to live out healthy family harmony and having those priorities.
And if the lead pastor isn't doing that, then there needs to be have some conversation about that as well. What are their expectations about you? Like, should you go to that meeting? Should you not go to the meeting? What are the expectations, and
Sure.
how can we have balance in general?
Yeah, absolutely. Another way to show care and modeling this is to show a genuine care about the state of the marriages of the leaders and those that are in your organization that you're leading. And not just caring about their relationships because it's a benefit to you and your
Yeah.
organization if they're healthy. It's genuinely caring and wanting to see those families succeed and wanting to see those families get the help that they need and to live in harmony with one another.
They need to know you care.
Exactly.
And we talk about the simple things, from everything from you knowing the names of their children and maybe the interests they might have, to, the spouses and what they're directly involved into. Just the little things matter when it comes to showing that care for their family and the health of their family. Do they have the proper medical care? Are they, what's going on in their life? Do they have to go visit a family member that may live far away to take care of some of their elder parents? You just don't know.
Yeah.
But you should be able to have that communication and talk to them to find out what do they need and what should you care about.
Yep. Find intentional ways also to invest in the health of their marriages and the health of their families, not just the leadership skills that benefit you as an organizational leader. So yes, it's great to send teams away to leadership trainings, to conferences, things like that, but also find times to send them away to get their marriages healthy and to prioritize their family as well, because that can be just as helpful in leading an organization as well.
And that also takes communication too, because you may not know what the exact needs of your staff may be or the leaders that are underneath you, but you may find that, oh, you know what, they may need some parenting things or some things in their family just to help foster their family even more.
Yep. The next principle that we want you to consider is to be aware of how finances affect the family harmony within those that you're leading as well. And because sadly, statistically, the number one stressor on families is finances.
Now, we want to be realistic about this. We know there's not a lot of money in ministry, unfortunately, and I wish we could just, give lots of money to all of us in the ministry itself. But that's not the reality. And so I know that, as pastors, you have to make really hard decisions on where your money is allocated to and how much you can do for salaries and who have to be part-time and, who has to have a job here and a job here. So we're not saying that we don't understand that there's going to be some financial difficulties in making sure that every single one of your staff can have the financial stability that is needed to live well. But there may be some ways that you can help.
Yeah. And sometimes it requires just having some what could be awkward conversations,
Yeah.
but it's called genuinely caring about their lives and finding out maybe there's some creative ways that you can help them out. One of the things that was a huge benefit to us is our lead pastor knew quite a lot about the tax system and knew a lot of legal things. There was a lot of benefits as a young minister that I didn't know that he was able to coach us through and talk us through, and all of those things were a benefit to us. So there's a lot of creative ways in which you can also help those that are working for you.
Even just the expectation of hours and how much they're working. Because as you know, ministry can be a lot in the evenings and the weekends. So if you were a part-time laborer, you might find, well, that's when I would get my extra hours in. So understanding that in order for this family to work out, I may not see my staff member these certain nights because they got to work.
Yeah.
Or they might have a spouse who's making the other ends meet. So you might not be as involved in ministry because what they have to do is make up for what they do not have, but they want to stay in ministry.
Yeah. The next principle that we want you to consider is, as a leader of an organization, specifically a church organization, is if you want to make family harmony a priority in your church, then you need to be a multi-generational church, which means you need to consider, how do we reach all of the areas of the families of our churches? How do we reach young people? How do we reach adults? How do we even reach seniors? And also constantly talking through this idea of promoting spiritual mothers and fathers, spiritual grandmothers and grandfathers, and your church community is one of those great opportunities for you to really promote family harmony by being a multi-generational church and prioritizing those things.
And also inviting those people into your family's life.
Yeah.
The amount of spiritual grandmas that we had for our girls growing up were a blessing.
Yeah.
Most people in your church do want to bless the staff or bless those people in leadership who are doing things or going, the extra mile. And sometimes it's the small things. They may not be able to serve at an event, but man, they can serve food, or they could buy an outfit for your kids. They might be able to take them to the zoo. I mean, we've had people do all sorts of things for our family, and it was just as much as a blessing. It really was. Or it's just simply saying, I'm praying for you. And those spiritual grandmas and grandfathers were vital to us as ministers.
And it communicates to your children that these people genuinely love you.
Yeah,
Ministry can be so
absolutely.
difficult sometimes for MKs and PKs. Certainly it is for the parents as well. But when you allow people to pour into your family's life as well, it creates an environment and a place where they genuinely want to be, where they feel loved and cared for. And that's all part of the disciple-making process as well. The last principle that we want you to consider is providing opportunities for families to grow together. You don't want to create a culture in your church where all of your discipleship is being outsourced to individual age-specific ministries or things like that. But you want to be able to establish in such a way that the parents and the family units are the primary discipleship-making environments for your families.
And now this is all part of the next gen vision of the Assemblies of God right now. So, in our church, there's some things changing, but you want to burden the parents with discipleship. You want to teach them how to do discipleship or teach them how to be those primary disciples of their children. And it may look differently for every single family. So just providing very different venues or different encouragements or different trainings may be the way that you are helping the family and facilitating that, not only in the children and the families of the church, but also of your staff as well.
Sure.
I mean, we went on a lot of conventions and workshops for us. We're able to go. And not only did we learn how to minister to the people in our ministry, but we also were able to take classes of what can we do to be a better parent in ministry as well. So there were many different opportunities that we had.
It can be easy for us as ministers, even with good intentions, to create some conflict and turbulence in a family if the things that we're teaching or saying seem to counteract what the parents are prioritizing or talking. So finding opportunities to explain the why behind the what, finding opportunities to honor their parents and point to them as their primary disciple givers, as their primary responsibility, then we can come alongside them and helping to nurture and foster family harmony. These are just a couple of opportunities that you as the leader can consider as it relates to promoting family harmony within your organization. Thanks for listening.